learning little by little that there's a level of, it's weird. Now I'm speaking like straight from intuition here. A level of resistance within, right? That comes from something within you that's resisting you. You know what I mean? Like, so there's something in there that gets accumulated throughout time that builds up and holds you back. You know what I mean?
Dude, I don't think that's intuition. I think that is the real you.
Thanks for being the light. Okay, so this is my kind of little introduction to this episode. Renaud and I, we went through a pretty cool conversation. We just kind of started off talking about our lives. He's in the middle of getting prepared for a move from one state to another, and I've been doing a series of things in my life, so I've been pretty busy, and so we were talking about all of that, and we were just kind of piggybacking on our last discussion, just kind of talking about like what kinds of things would you do if you wanted to find a way to find what you're good at and find like a pathway where you could use those things to create the kind of success that you want in your life. And we kind of went into some things about that. We talked about how to do that on your own terms, how to do that so that it's actually in alignment with who you really are. And then we kind of started to go into this whole bit, like I actually kind of segued into a whole spirituality conversation, and it got interesting. I think somehow we started to talk about how certain things can hold you back if you get in a certain kind of energy. You could be trying to elevate your energy spiritually, right? But then if you get into a certain kind of energy, it can get a little hairy sometimes, and sometimes you don't even realize it. Like you think you're vibrating on a higher level or whatever it is, and then you don't really realize that you're holding on to some negative energies in certain ways, in certain areas that might hold you back. And so we got to talking about that, and then he posed the interesting question of, well, what do you do if you find that that's the case? If there's some kind of an energy that you're holding on to, whether it be resentment or anger or something like that. Like what would you propose that someone does to be able to elevate or to alchemize? I think he used to transcend that kind of thing. So, and my response to him was completely kind of out of, I was calling it intuition, and he was calling it I forget. He was calling it who you really are, and I thought that was amazing. So, anyway, check out this discussion. I really enjoyed this, and I feel like there was a lot of gems in there. I feel like this one was definitely a very potent discussion, and I'm happy to share it with you. Computer. Okay, so it's recording. Cool, dude.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey.
No?
Well, actually, I'll show you what I got going here. It's a little bit of this right here. It's a little bit of the cafe Bustelo. This is when when people see this, they know that you're a hardcore coffee addict. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, for sure. The amount of caffeine in that is what I need. It's just the amount that I need. Yes, sir.
All right, man. What you drink? You drinking coffee or no?
No, I got it's a coffee cup, but I finished my coffee from earlier this morning and I just poured some tea. So yeah, some I don't know what type of tea it is, but it's doing something. It's helping me. It's helping me a lot right now, for
Right
sure.
on, dude. That's awesome.
Hmm.
So since the last time we talked, I guess like so we did like a short little episode and we talked about just like different stuff, I guess, like our kind of our quest for spirituality, like how we've kind of come along on our creative journeys, each of us. What else did we talk about? We talked about success and just kind of like staying focused and doing things in a manner that's going to actually get you somewhere versus like branching off in like a million different directions.
Mhm.
I think you said use the term shiny things, right? Like if you were going to find like things that would distract you, that like social media or like that new, I don't know, Xbox. Now I'm dating myself. that
Nah, just anything that
that just
anything that's distracting almost, yeah.
right on, right on. So yeah. Anyway, so what's new with you, man?
New, man, I'm just focused on moving, bro. Like
Nice,
everything is geared towards that. I've got a big move coming up, and it's just
nice,
lining everything up with that. It's also finding work. So piggybacking off of what we were talking about before in the previous podcast, like man, sometimes there's so many different routes that you can take in your life, but it's about anchoring down and focusing on one. So I know what I need for me right now, and that's a solid, I guess, in the realm of digital marketing. I just need to get my foot in there, just focusing on that, get the job, get the experience, and then propel myself to the next level. So,
nice.
yeah, that's just the focus right now, man. Aside from all the other stresses, of course, leaving the job that I'm in now, and preparing to move, to make that big move, to make that drive. I'm not flying. So yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot, but making it
Georgia,
work.
how many hours is it?
I'm actually going back to Florida on Friday. Well, I don't want to use dates because who knows, but I'll be taking a trip back to Florida, Palm Coast, and then from there that Sunday I've got a 13-hour drive all the way to Houston. So
Wow, yeah. That's a long drive, dude. Have you done one like that before or not?
13-hour drive, no, but 10 hours, yes, I have. From the middle of Georgia all the way down to Miami, Florida, man.
Nice, nice. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's a pretty good one. Like I think 13 was when I was in the band, we went to Nashville and it took us about 13 hours each way. So that but
Woo.
we got some scenery and stuff, that was the fun part. Are you guys gonna go along like the panhandle? So you're gonna go like past Pensacola and all that, past
Yeah,
New Orleans, down just all the way through all that, right? Yeah.
yeah. And I've never been to New Orleans. I know
Yeah.
we won't have time to stop, but I'll definitely soak it all in, man.
Oh,
I'll try my
definitely. Yeah, just take in as much as you can and just enjoy being on the road. And man, I remember when I first packed up and came to Florida, man, that was a crazy adventure. Like I remember driving through like Iowa or something where they had it was like iron ore, like just random.
mm.
Like I went through the mountains. I went through so like through Tennessee and Kentucky and all that through the mountains and just like it was just like
Oh
driving.
wait, you were driving in the middle of them, like
I mean,
the
you just
mountains?
because the declines are kind of steep, and then they go around little twisty turvy things, so they just like yeah.
Oh man, I know, man. I took a hiking trip up to it wasn't hiking. What was it? It was a getaway.
Oh, okay, yeah,
To like a cabin, and I don't know. I forgot the name of the place, but it was like northern Georgia. Man,
yeah,
driving up those mountains, bro, that was like the scariest
something
drive.
else.
Yeah, man, because at any moment, it reminded me of Tokyo Drift.
Oh wow,
Um,
oh like
yeah,
Fast and Furious,
yes, man. Like I was like, wait a minute, because the
right?
way that the like I guess me I was new to that, so it's my first time ever trying that out. But the other like drivers, man, they were just cruising and speeding. Some of them, like what? Yeah,
Like that's crazy. Yeah. Like I don't even know how people do that, especially when you're in a bigger vehicle. Like when we went up with the band, we were in a Suburban, and like I drove all the way from Florida into about Georgia, and then after that, the lead singer took over because it was his car, and he just drove us through the mountains like it was nothing. Like and just. But I just remember at points when we were going through all that. I mean, because there was a lot going on, and I was like, I'm glad I'm not driving right now.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
just it was you're going around this thing and it's like you can feel the G force like and you're just like this thing I don't even not used to this vehicle like to be able to be controlling it like that like especially in that kind of environment so yeah that's crazy but road trips man cheers to road trips
Cheers to road trips. Cheers, man.
coming road trips that's awesome dude well you're gonna have a good life because you just got to keep on you have your mind so focused I can tell like you're already what you like what it is that you want to do exactly like okay I'm going to do this I want to get this experience and I want to start doing this and I want to build this by doing this right and then the next thing comes and you already have it kind of figured out like from your own experience doing different types of work like what is going to lead to what and how you're going to get there and I think that's huge right once you figure it out and it works in your experience you can do it and once you've done it then people will understand.
And that's what's interesting because for me, well, in crafting my resume, I've noticed that I have countless experience
Right.
in digital marketing, which is crazy. Like just pulling back from, okay, I've helped with e-commerce websites.
Mm-hmm.
I not produced, but I worked on product descriptions. I worked on product images. I assisted with blogs. I made thumbnails for YouTube.
I didn't know you did all that.
Yeah, dude, I did affiliate marketing. So it's like all of those things,
Mm-hmm.
just adding up all of those different nuggets of experience into just one crafted resume. It showed me, not just the person who's reading it, but it showed me like, yo, dude, you kind of have the experience, man. Yeah, you have the experience. It's there. It's just being able to bring it all into one place and
Mm-hmm.
you know, yeah, like make it make sense, make it work, organize it.
Somebody who did blogs in the past, right? Like, say somebody, okay, I worked on a blog one time. I was a social media. I worked at a job, and maybe they were in charge of managing the social media or something, right? Maybe they
Mhm.
made a YouTube channel, right? Like, and maybe they like to walk dogs.
Yeah.
A little bit wild card in there. But like, how would you tell that person, like, how do I use that and use it to get into, like, say you want to work for a media company or something. Somebody needs someone who could, do all kinds of things, like I don't know, edit video, manage their social media page, do photography for them, do branding and marketing stuff. What would you tell that person?
I mean, just I guess you can look at both of the job description, or just look at the job description that you're applying for, and see if any of those requirements, responsibilities, or skills that they're looking for crosses with some of the skills and responsibilities that you had to, deal with in your past. And then if there is, some commonalities, use it. Just say, okay, if that job is looking for someone who has YouTube experience, who's worked with the YouTube platform or done some sort of advertising on YouTube, and you've done that, even if it's on a personal level, even if you haven't done it for a company or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
you've done that, and you know you have experience doing it. Put that there. Yes, I have experience with YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like
right,
this is what I've done.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, and you can do that for like a multitude of like whatever it is that they're looking for, if you have that experience, man, put it down and be confident. Yeah, that's how it goes, man. That's how experience works. It's just you do it enough, and now I don't know, you can do it. I
exactly.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you start off saying, I don't know, the confidence is very low. Um, it almost seems like a mountain is in front of you with all the stuff that they're asking you for to do whatever job that is, whatever job you're applying for. It just seems like it's overwhelming almost. But then the second you get your hands wet, you get in the mix of things, it's coming at you. It's easy, and then with experience, it becomes a proficient skill. Like you can just do this with your eyes closed. And you know that's how we all start, man.
Yeah, no, you're right. And that's I think that's really good for people because I honestly one of the things that I've noticed like I think the one thing that it takes to really be able to get anywhere that you want to go in this life is just to basically be able to figure out a like what you are good at, right? Like what you feel like you might want to do, right? Like what you're enjoying, maybe something that you're already starting to do that you're enjoying and you want to try to make it a career or you want to make it a job or you want to make it something that you can monetize, right? And so it's just like, well, what exists out there that uses those things, like for me, like what am I? I'm a musician, So ever since I was a little, like when I was a little kid, I always used to like play music, and so I like now I'm an English teacher, but like I just brought like a little electronic drum set with like little pads and stuff, and like drumsticks and like little pedals, and then I found out who the good drummer in my class was. He was this one kid could just like he made that $33 Amazon drum set sound like it should have been at the NAM show. He made that thing. He made that thing sound like it's $1,000. I mean, I had a little rhythm section going, and I had him and a couple other kids. One was playing the shaker, and the other one was playing the djembe, and then everybody was like singing or doing something, like dancing. So like I was like, that was my English class. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I had fun. I mean, so like, how can I hack whatever the situation is and just be like, I'm gonna do what I want. Listen, I don't know y'all if that's a good advice because if you if you want to you might want to ask permission. I like to have fun first, ask permission later. Um, especially like if I've been given the belief to be able to like, oh no, you come up with your own things. Okay, all right.
Okay. All right, say less, man. I'll do that.
Right, yeah, exactly. Like I'm like, I mean, it's the same thing. Like I remember so before I don't know how much time we have, but I wanted to get into like a spiritual concept anyway, that to make a hard left. Well not really a hard left, it's more like a hard right. Into the right brain of spirituality, right? And
Mhm.
so I've been listening to videos on like Kundalini. So I started listening to people talking about Kundalini. And I started hearing Adishyante, I think it's called. I think that's how it's pronounced. And he was talking about Kundalini, and then I kind of like that's where I started going, okay, well that's one guy who talks about Kundalini, and then other spiritual like there were people who are like who I was listening to were saying like he's one of the people that has like a more nuanced perspective, like not so much just straight non-duality, but like some kind of a practical approach to it all, but like some kind of an like he was more open to the whole energetic kind of approach or something like that. Like because a lot
Okay.
of times apparently non-dual teachers will kind of like they'll kind of just be dismissive of the whole energy, like, oh well that's all phenomenal. And basically the way that they look at it is like it's you like witnessing you, right? So you're like the presence, right? The place of the witness. And so like you're and that's like the kind of like the source place, right? And then so you're witnessing your life from that place. So anything that happens is phenomena. So if it's energy, Kundalini energy is like heat and all this kind of like just this kind of like awakening. Like they say that energy gets released in different parts of your body. So like your heart apparently can carry energy, and it like gets really it gets it's like tension and energy that can get released, that
Yeah.
gets stored there and kind of like trapped there, I guess they say. And a funny one, or not funny one, but a interesting one that I heard was like the liver. And I guess this is like in the Vedas they say like I might not be saying that right, but but I know that that's kind of like where the origins come for this whole thing. But like your liver apparently traps anger.
Right.
So it's like I'm like, wow. So they had the insight that hypertension or anger is associated with the liver. I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting because Kundalini is supposed to like release these things. So yeah, I had just gone through, I mean, I've been doing a lot of meditation, just trying to find my way around my own spirituality, just trying to dive as deep as I can. Sometimes I'll fall asleep listening to something like what I was just talking about, right? Um, but it got to the point, dude, where I was starting to really like, I think probably the one little tidbit that I could point like I could point to say that I think there's something that I've got through all of that. Like just in this last week or so, is like if you find yourself in a negative energy space, right? Like over frustration or irritation or mine, I think mine is just like if there's a resentment. If you find yourself, it's like I started to call myself on this throughout the week. I was like, am I okay? Am I in resentment right now? Because that's not a good energy space. Like if even if you're like, I'm fine or I'm happy or I'm living my best life or I'm gonna, I'm like I'm not gonna let negativity get me down or whatever. It's like you're saying that on the outside, but then on the inside, if you haven't let go of any kinds of resentment that there may be in there, then it's like you're saying you're on one energy and you may think you are, but then on the inside you're actually in another space. So it's like so I started saying that to myself. Anytime I felt myself feeling resentful over anything, I was like, am I in resentment right now? Because that's a bad energy. Like that's gonna it's like it's gonna poison the well, basically. So
Okay.
so that's
How
that.
how do you how do you how do you perform, I guess the proper word is maybe alchemy? Like how do you get yourself from that one energy space, energetic space, into another, like the one that you may prefer? What do you do? What's your exercise? What's your, I guess, meditation?
So what I would do if I wanted to hold on, I'm actually gonna upgrade this while we're in the call, so it doesn't just cut us off. But my bad. Look and see. I'm sorry.
That's no,
Yeah.
that's interesting though, because yeah, I think that happens way more often. I think that happens way more often than, I guess, than we think. Even to us, like we're unaware. We're unaware of what energetic space we're occupying. Uh, we may think that we're in one, but we might be in a totally different space. And it takes, being in those higher energetic planes to really see, what it is that you're manifesting, what's around you, what um, goals you're trying to like drive yourself towards. And it's a lot easier to get there when you're in a higher energetic plane, but we might think we're there, but in reality, we may be in a negative space that's keeping us back from uh, really reaching our goals. And I find that interesting. I would like to know if there is a practice that you uh, do to get yourself from one space to the next.
I think that's the truth is that there's always like some kind of I think what we might do is we might just restart the we might just start the call again if it doesn't hopefully it'll let us do that. If not, maybe we might TBD or TBC to be continued. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, man, like I think you're right. Like it's like how are we holding ourselves back through the energy that we're feeding into, right? Like because or unknowingly, like you say, because when you have something that's there kind of in the background, it becomes so easy to kind of just not even notice it because you're just kind of going from thing to thing, doing the thing that you're doing, and it's
Mhm.
like just this little tiny little tweaks where you just kind of become awake to something. It's it's weird because like it doesn't seem like that's going to open up much. It's like, okay, well, yeah, sure, I'll let go of my frustration or whatever, but like I still got all this stuff to do and whatever. But I'm learning little by little that there's a level of it's weird. Now I'm speaking like straight from intuition here. a level of resistance within, right? That comes from something within you that's resisting you. You know what I mean? Like, so there's something in there that gets accumulated throughout time that builds up and holds you back. You know what I mean?
Dude, I don't think that's intuition. I think that is the real you.
Nice.
Uh, yeah, no, because
Like I
because
don't know
I
what it is. I'm just like,
no 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 the
I love that.
reason
All right.
I'm serious because I think in this age, man, and maybe it's been like this
Mm-hmm.
for the ages, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But we receive so much information from like outside sources because and they always say this, man. Like you've heard this a million times. I know you have because I have. They say, okay, yo, the answers that you're looking for is really from within, uh, but what do we do? Instead of
Mm-hmm.
going within to go find those answers, we're looking outside all the time. We're going to this person, we're letting that person tell us what it is that we
Yeah.
feel that we,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? We're
Yeah.
letting this person tell us about our journeys. And I read this from Alan Watts. Alan Watts actually spoke about this. He said,
Yeah. Yeah.
spiritual teacher, will look to go find a spiritual teacher for answers. And the truth is, dude, you have the answers, but
Mm-hmm.
going to the spiritual teacher, you're gonna throw money at them. You're gonna say, "Oh my gosh, help me, please! I need this growth, this knowledge." And the
Right.
teacher, knowingly, says, "Okay, yeah, sure, I'll help you. I'll let you do this," and then have you run in circles, making you think that the knowledge is something that you receive from outside of you, when the truth is, it's coming from within you. And
Yeah.
if you ask the correct questions, you'll come up with the answers that you're looking for. So if
Yeah.
you say, okay, what, why am I in this energetic space right now? What's happening for real with me? Why do I feel like this?
Mm-hmm.
Sit in that, sit in that silence for a little bit, and it'll come up to you. Or maybe have the next person have some dialogue like this, where eventually you get to the question that you're looking for, and then the truth will come out. Okay, it's
Yeah.
this. It's actually tension that I've been holding for who knows however long. It's because I've been treated like this for however many years. It's because I am lost. I'm confused. I don't know where to go. It's because, you know what I'm saying? You'll find the answers.
Right.
You'll
Right.
find it.
Yeah.
It'll uncover. And
Great.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think you're right. Like you definitely have like that's what it is, isn't it? It comes from it's already there. You have to kind of just keep on going towards it until you brush up against it, and then
yes,
like then you can deal with it when you get there. Like it's I, I gotta say, bro, like that never happened to me on a podcast or anything where I was just like, let me just like see what words come out of my mouth and I'll say them. And that was pretty cool. I was like, bro, whatever that was, I'd like to operate from that space some more, you know? You know what
man, yeah.
I mean? Yeah.
That space is there, man.
Where'd
It's
it come from,
there,
right?
and it's nothing that you don't really have to grab a pickaxe and pick a way to find that information. It's literally there. If you
Yeah.
just ask, just say, okay, you know what? Wow, I'm feeling if this is the feeling that you have in your body, yo,
Right.
I'm feeling tensed right now. Why is that?
It's a good question,
Hmm.
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, why do I feel tense?
So I need to
What's
ask you something, guys.
what what got me here? Or, oh my gosh, I'm yeah, I'm feeling free. My energy is flowing right now. Why do I feel like this?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. But instead,
Mm-hmm.
as we said, we're looking over here, we're looking over there to find the gold that's in you already. You know.
Versus
So,
being in it, you know?
hmm versus being in it. Exactly. Exactly.
Totally, bro. Well, on that note, let me see how much time we have. We got like a minute-ish. So I think I think we should probably close it, right? Our typical time limits. Like I'll upgrade this thing so we can go longer next time. But dude, thank you again for an awesome talk. Like I didn't, you know what I love about this is I didn't know where this was gonna go. You know, we I was like, hey, how's it going? What's going on in your life? You know, I was telling you, I started rambling on about my career and jobs and stuff, um, and talking about Kundalini, and then we just kind of touched on a pretty cool topic. So I think, you know, more like this to come, and I want to start bringing on some guests, and I would love to have you interview them with me, and you know, and just kind of just do more of the same. So awesome, dude. Thank
Yeah,
you.
man. Thank you for having me on, bro.